Okay, let's move on now. They've certainly given each other a verbal bashing over the last few weeks. The time has come to see who will really pack the punch in the boxing ring this weekend. Audley Harrison and David Haye are fighting for the boxing heavyweight champion of the world title. They're in Manchester making the final preparations for the big fight tomorrow. Our reporter Marcus Powell is there as well.
Bermondsey boy David the Haymaker Haye has travelled a long way to become the WBA World Heavyweight Champion. Yet his second title defence with Harlesden's Audley Harrison is seen by many as a mismatch. Audley has more or less sunk without trace since winning an Olympic gold a decade ago, earning him the nickname Fraudley Harrison. Yet he really believes he can win, rebranding himself as A-Force. So the stage is perfectly set for this best of British bout with a world title at stake.
I've done more in the gym than ever before and he's going to get absolutely demolished. I'm really positive about that, you know. I know he's going to come with a good game plan. I know he's a former Olympic champion, he's an intelligent man, but when that first bell rings, he's going to be in a situation where he's never been in before.
Prediction?
Knockout.
For Audley, the fight is the road to redemption. After Olympic success, he beat no one of any real note, yet now he has a world title shot.
Audley, tell us, how's it going to go for ITV? David Haye's getting knocked out.
David Haye is a class act, having unified world titles at cruiserweight before stepping up to heavyweight. He may be getting a big payday, but he does need real credibility, which won't come until he tackles the Klitschko brothers, who hold 3 more versions of the heavyweight title between them. Yet this is the biggest bout in Britain since Lennox Lewis met Frank Bruno.
You know, anything can happen in there. So, they're two good fighters. Audley, you can't count him out because he's an Olympian, and that's the pedigree for being a champion. His last fight, he brought it home at the end, so that still shows that he still has a lot of hunger in him. And I don't think it's fair to really count him out.
So how are you going to call it?
I'm going to call it the best man on the night will win.
That's a cop-out, you know. Very diplomatic.
Well, they may not be the biggest names in world boxing, but they are very big box office. David Haye alone stands to make £5 million from this fight. And as he said, people will pay their hard-earned money to watch one of us take a beating. Marcus Powell, London Tonight, Manchester.
Should be a good match. I'm sure there are many of us that will be tuning in. All right.
Sport now, and to the big boxing match this weekend. David Haye versus Audley Harrison. They're both Londoners, and there's plenty of excitement around, particularly where Mark Bright is right now. Mark.
Thank you very much, Mike. Here I'm at the Fitzroy Lodge Gym in Lambeth, just a stone's throw from the River Thames, and look at this. This is where it all started for a young David Haye, and as you said, he's involved in a huge fight tomorrow with Audley Harrison. Now, they've been trash-talking each other in the press all week, but if you scratch below the surface, I think you'll find two very different boxers. We'll find out about David in a minute here, but Sarah Orchard has been at the weigh-in in Manchester. She's been getting to know Audley a little bit better. I must tell you, this report contains flash photography.
A hopeful from Harlesden versus a bruiser from Bermondsey. They're from opposite sides of London and used to be friends. But on Saturday night, they'll be fighting it out as David Haye defends his WBA heavyweight title. The trash talk in the build-up to this has been intense, but the feeling is there really will be only one winner.
Well, David Haye should win it. He's a more accomplished boxer. Speed kills, and he's extremely fast for a heavyweight.
David wins the fight for one simple reason: speed, and it's always neglected in heavyweights. We're used to these big, fat, slow heavyweights, and along comes this lean heavyweight, about 4 stone lighter than his nearest rival. He's simply too fast.
I think he'll have too much for Audley. He'll be too fast, too slick.
The matchup between David Haye and Audley Harrison is a great matchup. It's an all-British matchup, and it's all for British pride.
Spoken like a true champ, Lennox. But even with British pride at stake, it doesn't look good for Audley Harrison. However, there is one place where you can find complete belief in the 39-year-old. This is the Brent Play Centre, where Audley used to hang out after school when he was just 7 years old.
We grew up together. I mean, Audley lived around 4 doors away from me on the Stonebridge estate in Wilmer's Court. We used to play together all the time. Good for him. He's there, he's got the fight of his life Saturday, and Audley Harrison win it.
The play centre is under threat of closure, and after the fight, Audley has vowed to wear a T-shirt backing the campaign to save the site. Although Saturday night's fight is being billed as the best of enemies, don't believe all the hype. Really? They're just two ordinary boys from London. Sarah Orchard, BBC London News, Manchester.
I'm Sarah Orchard there. Now I'm with Mick Carney, who was handed the keys 47 years ago and has still got them. Mick used to coach David Haye. What was he like?
Yeah, when he first came in, young gangly kid, full of enthusiasm, had waited till he was the age of 10 and come in like a rocket. All he wanted to do was box.
Could you see from an early age he had what it takes?
Not right away, but he was a bit ungainly, his arms and legs, but you could tell after 6 months he had a lot of power in him, had a natural power.
Are you surprised at how far he's gone?
Yes and no. David was always a lazy kid, very, very talented. I always said, most talented kids who walk through the door, laziest. Always had to have his arse kicked. But, you know, he's a professional, you know. He gets it for a living now. The proof of the pudding is tomorrow. He's got it right.
And tomorrow, the big day. How do you see it going?
David Haye will never let anybody down in the ring. All David Haye wants to do is get in the ring and fight. And for him to be in front of 20,000 people, like winning the lottery, he really, really wants to get in the ring and fight.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. So there you heard it here first. David Haye. I'm going for David Haye as well. Back to the studio, Mike.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Mark.